What is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Jay Otis, back at it again. Hold up. We turning off the fan for this one. So, I don't know if y'all could hear it, but we turning this off because this is What If Deku Had a Healing Quirk, Part 3. Now, I'm just gonna address, sorry, I took a little bit of a break. One of my friends came into town and I really just needed to focus on doing schoolwork, and it was just busy and practice and all of that stuff. So without further ado, let's get into part 3 of What If Deku Had a Healing Quirk. I hope you guys are having an amazing day, but without further ado, let's get into it. So our story picks off from them all returning back to class after they had their internships, and it's actually revealed that Izuku, like the healing course with Recovery Girl was already finished, or it's about to finish. Like they have finals, and it's a semester class, we'll say. So after this, he'll either have to continue in UA as a student in the business course or hero course or otherwise, or he'll have to go to a different school. So he obviously wants to do UA, and he wants to go hero course, like at least one B, like and be with his boy Shinso, if you know what I'm saying. Nah, but so after this, what I could see happening is Izuku, like he finds out like Momo was telling him about finals and all that, and he's like, oh yeah, no, I have to come over and like I want to study with you so that way we can get ready for finals and actual studying. I mean, like I know I know we all know Zether and his studying time. You know what I'm saying? However, this is real studying. So they just study with each other, and they like a bunch of 1A like come, so he's actually making good friends with all of 1A, like all the people that needed it in the original, like Kirishima, Denki, Mina, Jiro, Uraraka, Ida. He wouldn't really need it. I think he was just studying on his own, but I think he would come over just to hang out. But this is all of the people that are like hanging out, like they're studying with them, and yeah. So I feel like Izuku he would become like pretty good friends with them all, and I think this would just make good conversation, and he just is happy that Momo's getting a bunch of like nice friends in class, and that's all he can really ask for. So. And after this, I could see them all having finals, and Izuku, he goes to his hero course finals, and it's basically just medical course terminology. And I can see him actually just like passing this with like honors. Like he would get like an A plus plus because it's like he's smart in this version, like because he's had a healing quirk his whole life, so he wants to study medical. So that way, like he studied from the time he was a kid all the way to now. So that's why I can see him actually being like decently smart. Like he was pretty smart in the original as well. Like if you guys remember, like he didn't really like care about studying. He was more, well, I guess you could see it, like he did have, I guess he did study, but regardless, I could see everybody passing in 1A as usual and blah blah blah. And I could actually see Kaminari, Mina, and Kirishima all passing as well because they also had Izuku to help them. Like I could see them like not really failing, if that makes sense. So after this, what I could see happening is then Izuku is told by Recovery Girl, she's like, okay, hey, so she tells the 4 students that she was interning with, she was like, okay, well, in reality, I think my internship is only done for 2 of you. And all 4 of them look at each other and like, wait, what? And she was just like, well, as you guys know, this is a semester course. However, you guys can continue at UA under my guidance and or join a hero course. And only 2 of you guys will either have to leave or stay. And Izuku's like, okay, so who is it? And she's like, the ones who will be staying will be Izuku and my grandson. They have shown adept abilities in healing and martial arts that I feel that they are capable of staying at the school. As for you two, don't be disheartened. I feel as if your medical skills are very sharp, and they definitely should be continued to be prospered. However, I feel like you would take a better course of action within a medical, like an actual medical system, not a hero medical. And they thank her, and the 2 walk out because they didn't really have names. So we're gonna say her grandson is named Toshi. Why? Why not? Toshi. And Toshi and Izuku, they just look at each other, they dap each other up, like, mmm. And then they just snap and they're like, oh, that was crispy. And anyway, so Recovery Girl's like, okay, you two, for your first one, I need to ask you guys, will you guys be staying with me, or will you guys be going to Hero Course? And Izuku says, wait, you said and or. Does that mean we could do both? And she's like, of course you can. However, it will be a lot more stress because now you will only just be getting homework from me, but also from your respective course. And Izuku's like, oh, bet. And Toshi's like, can I just stay with you? And Recovery Girl's like, of course you can. And that's what he does. And Izuku's like, so what lets me decide if I go to 1A or not? And she's like, well, you're going to have to fight. You're going to either have to take an entrance exam or you're going to have to fight somebody. And that being one of the teachers. And he's like, oh, do I get a partner or am I doing it alone? And she's like, yes, you may get a partner. Or you may not. It really just depends on the luck of the draw and how they feel they should take it. And he's just like, oh, okay, bet. So she's like, well, if you would rather take the second option, well, I will say, it might actually make it more favorable in the long run. And, if you win, they will definitely let you go to 1A or even 1B if you so choose. And he's just like, oh yeah, I would definitely choose 1A. Plus, I have a little bit of a recommendation for somebody who might want to be in 1A as well. And she's like, oh, do tell. And he's like, his name is Shinso. I mean, you've probably heard of him. The mind control person. And she's like, oh, yes, the purple-haired boy that you're friends with. And he's just like, oh, yeah, for sure. He's amazing. And he's just like... And I think he would honestly be adept in a hero course. Especially one like 1A where his strengths can get tested. So he's like, can I choose him as a partner and fight somebody? And she's like, you might want to take that up with Nezu. Principal Nezu. And so that's what Izuku does. And he has a connection, and Izuku has a connection with Principal Nezu because Principal Nezu is the one who set him up for all of the opportunities, like going to the USJ and getting help healing at all the certain, 1A things, Even helping out with the stain incident, which Nezu would know about. So after this, what I could see happening is Izuku goes up to Nezu and they start talking, and after this, Nezu agrees and he says, okay, and who would you like to fight exactly? And he's like, I would say Aizawa, however, I don't think I would be able to fight full strength against him. And he's like, I completely understand, that is your mentor after all, isn't it? And he's like, oh yeah, of course. And after this, what I could see happening is he would choose, I'm going to say he would choose Snipe. I feel like that would be pretty cool. Yeah. No. I'm gonna say he would choose, not Snipe. It wouldn't be Ectoplasm. I don't want him to fight All Might because that's just not fair for either of them. Because if All Might talks back, then it's a 50-50 draw. Because if All Might talks back, then he's cooked. But if he doesn't talk back, then Izuku and Shinso are cooked. So I'm going to say that he would choose... hold on, let me think. Actually, no. We're going to let them go against Midnight. Because I feel like that might actually be a good one. Because Izuku's healing quirk wouldn't allow him to get the mist. So it would be a lot of, Shinso. I mean, what happened to Mineta? And, the tape guy. I forgot his name. Sero. And I feel like it might be... Especially because Midnight is pretty loud-mouthed. So I feel like she would pretty much instantly talk to, Shinso. So after this, they go to the 1A course and they're like, yo, what's good? And Izuku just says hey to all of his classmates, or his future classmates. A little bit of a subtle foreshadowing. And he says hey to Momo and he's just like, yo, what up? And she's just blushing and she's just like, hey. So after this, I could see the fight's going down as usual. Momo and Todoroki against Aizawa. And then all the fights is regular. And then I could see Shinso and Izuku being against Midnight. And Midnight's like, oh, you chose to call me out, yeah? And they're just like, yeah, we're sorry. We were going to choose Aizawa, but we honestly did not think we would be able to fight fully against one of our mentors. And she's like, no, I completely understand. Honestly, I don't really blame you for wanting to fight such a woman like myself. And they're just like, yeah, cool. And after this, what I can see happening is the fight going down a little bit something like this. So the fight starts off with Izuku getting in his fighting stance. He gets in a little bit of a Muay Thai stance, a little bit mixed with, forget. Like, he has his left arm down. He has his right foot back. He has his left arm down. He has his right hand up. And then I could see him pivoting on his left foot and, like, jumping back immediately, starting the fight. Because Midnight immediately, she tears her arm piece and she launches, like, a huge thing of smoke. And my mother, she's getting kind of jealous because, like, she knows what Midnight's power is going to be. And she's just hoping that it affects Shinso and not Izuku, if you know what I mean. Nah, I'm playing. But after this, what I could see happening is Izuku, what he does is he would use some of his cloth and he would put it against his mouth using his healing to control it and keep it there. And he would like, Shinso, you ready? And Shinso, he puts his like gas mask on and he's like, yeah, Izuku, I am. And immediately what would happen is Shinso, what he would do is he would use his little mask and he would say, and he would use, I would say he would use Aizawa's voice, or no, he would use Mike's voice. It would be like, Midnight, what are you doing in that puff of smoke? And she'd be like, Mike, is that you? And then immediately the smoke clears and Midnight is just standing there, eyes just completely whited out, and he's like, man, you really fell for that? And he's just like, well, let's just wrap her up. And Izuku's kind of sad that he didn't get to show off any, and he's like, so he wraps up Midnight, he's like, you're definitely getting into this hero course. And he says that to Shinso, and after this, what I can see happening is, like, the scores are announced, and it's announced that Shinso will be joining 1A, but Izuku will only be joining Class 1, like, he would be able to join Class 1B. And he's like, wait, I have an offer. If I can fight a hero by myself and win, at complete random, like, I don't get to pick the hero, and I win, I get to join 1A. And I was always just like, okay, but you have to fight me. And Deku's just like, dang, I bet. Which, he's honestly not excited about fighting him because he knows that he can't rely on his quirk for this fight. Like, if he relies on his quirk, he might as well be cooked. Like, because he can't heal himself rapidly. So he knows that he's going to have to do something to break Aizawa's line of sight. So what he would do is the match would start, and what I can immediately see is Izuku being like, let's just throw some hands. I know you want to, don't lie. So he just like, they pump fists, like Izuku, he pumps both of his fists, he gets into like a kind of boxer stance, and he throws jab, jab, cross. Aizawa would dodge, and block, and counter with a gut punch, and Izuku would jump back and be like, not bad, old man, let's see you defend this. Izuku, he would throw a massive tornado kick to the block of Aizawa, and then he would immediately pivot out of it mid-air and would throw a heel kick straight to Aizawa's jaw. And this would land. However, Aizawa, what he would do is, it would land, and then he would grab Izuku's heel and he would slam him on the ground. And what I could see this happening, like, is Izuku, he gets up and he's like, dang, man, oh, you're really trying to hurt me. And he's like, so are you. Dang, that kick was not soft. And the crowd is just like, dang, they can throw hands. And he's just like, I bet then. So they immediately just start brawling out, like Izuku's throwing, like, punch, kick. And Aizawa's blocking, punch, and then counter. And Izuku's like, I got you. And Aizawa throws a hook, and he's like, oh, you should not have done that. He catches by his wrist, he ducks under the fist, and he goes, bow, bow, bow. 3 hits, straight to the liver. Full force. He's about to send Aizawa flying. He lets go. He stops Aizawa. He lets him go, completely stopping his momentum. And then he would land a massive front kick, like going upwards into Aizawa's gut, sending him crashing into a wall. And this would knock Aizawa out. Man, it's not. I'm not saying it's hard to make these videos, but it's hard to continuously talk. And then after this, I could see Aizawa being like, you won, kid. And I'm surprised you didn't even use your quirk. And he's like, oh, yeah, now that I can, that feels so much better. Like, activating his quirk, and he's like, you want to go for a round 2 now? And Aizawa's just like, dang, let me catch a break. Maybe later. And Izuku's just like, aw, fine. So after this, he would be like, well, I guess you're in the 1A now. I get to finally teach you. And Izuku's like, yeah, I'm excited. And Shinso's gonna be there too. I'm so happy. And it's kind of BS that Shinso wasn't in 1A in the first place. Like, don't tell me Hagakure got into the 1A, but Shinso didn't. Come on. What is Hagakure doing? Like, she's invisible. She has no physical boost whatsoever. I have no clue how she even got in. She must have, like, gave Nezu, like... She must have paid bands to get into that school or something. Like, like no shot she didn't. Because, like, I don't know. But anyways, after this, I feel like it would get revealed about the forest training camp and all of that. And after this, after it gets revealed, I can see Izuku, like, oh yeah, Bakugo is, like, foaming out of the mouth at Izuku, like, being able to take out a person that he doesn't even think that he would be able to take out. So Bakugo's like, you're basically quirkless. How were you able to do that? You nerd. And Deku's just like, dude, chill. And he's like, yeah, but how'd you get in the same class as me? You're more useless than ever. And Bakugo's just like, you better fight me now to show who's actually worthy of this class. And Izuku's just like, nah, dude, just chill. Like, it's not that big of a deal. So after this, I could see Aizawa being like, Bakugo, quiet down. Dang problem child. And Bakugo would, like, start just, like, being his angry Pomeranian, like, rah, rah, rah. Like, he would keep yapping. And finally, Aizawa would just be like, if you don't quiet down, I will make you, and I won't be easy on you. And immediately Bakugo would shut up and be like, yes, sir. Like, and he'd be like, good boy. Nah, I'm playing. But... After this, I could see, like, a week or two going by, and Izuku, he's just hanging out with his mom, and he's telling her all about this stuff, and I can just see, like, she wouldn't have gotten, like, big in this version. Like, I can see, like, her actually being, like, thick. She wouldn't have been, like, in shambles because Izuku was quirkless. And I can actually see her, like, going to, like, boxing and Muay Thai with her son whenever he's little. After this, I can see, I could see the forest training camp going down, and it would go down something like this. Like, they would all get thrown on the cliff, and, like, they would all get brought on the bus to the cliff, and everybody on the bus is talking about who's the most powerful, and everybody is just like, well, it has to be Todoroki, right? Like, no shot, it can't be anyone else. And after this, Izuku would be like, yeah, but what is Todoroki without that quirk? And everybody looks at him like, wait, what did you just say? And he's like, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you can't throw hands, I mean, what are you as a hero? I mean, think about it. If we go up against somebody like Aizawa, I mean, most of y'all would be cooked. Maybe not Asui, because, I mean, it's a mutation quirk, but... And he just starts talking, and he's just like, well, yeah, I mean, in reality, everybody, maybe except for, like, me, maybe Bakugo, honestly, too. And Bakugo's just like, yeah, don't compliment me, you nerd. And he's just like, chill, dude. And he's like, I mean, reality, I mean, I feel like Todoroki would take a few blows, but I feel like at the end of the day, he doesn't really know how to, like, fight. So without that quirk, I mean, he's kind of just not useful. And Todoroki, he kind of gets irritated at this, and he's like, who's not useful? Who doesn't have a flashy quirk? And Izuku's like, I might not have a flashy quirk, but I could beat you in a fight any day. And Todoroki's just like, oh yeah, how about this? Whenever we get to the fort, how about this? Whenever we get to the training camp, how about we have a little sparring match and see who comes out on top? And he's like, alright, bet. No quirks. And Todoroki's like, I can't make that promise. And he's like, I bet. Then I get to use whatever I want to my advantage. And Todoroki's like, alright, bet. So after this, the bus finally stops, and Bakugo's like, I just want you to know you're fighting me too while you're here. And he's like, Izuku's just like, it's a good thing I have a healing quirk. I can probably do both really easily. And after this, I could see them all, like, getting off the bus and standing on the edge of the cliff, and they're all like, what are we doing here? And Izuku and Shinso immediately know, and they're just like, well, I guess this is gonna suck. And immediately Izuku's just like, here you go, bro. And he just daps him up, and he just holds his hand on his shoulder, and he's just like, this is gonna hurt. Sorry. And he just, like, starts healing Shinso and himself, and they both just jump off the cliff before all the rubble just, like goes on them. Oh yeah, I don't think you guys understand how like, unsafe that was. Imagine if the rubble crushed a kid. Like, especially somebody like Hagakure, who can't be seen. You know how unsafe that would be? Anyways, I digress. And I can see Izuku and Shinso just running through the forest with the healing quirk on them. Like, their stamina is not draining at all. So I could see them getting to it in about like 2 hours, because they still did have to go through the monsters. And Izuku and Shinso, they have no real way of getting through these monsters, so they just like dodge and weave, like, and they use the scarves that they have, and they use like the string that Izuku has, kind of like how Vanessa uses her strings in Black Clover, how like you can slash, or Doflamingo, like with those slashes. That's probably better terminology. But after this, what I can see going down is Izuku and Shinso, they make it to the camp in about like 2 hours, and then everybody else makes it an hour later, and they're all surprised that they made it before them, because they're basically quirkless, and they're all like, how did you make it here before us? And they're just both like, I mean, you guys are really slow, and you guys have to think, with my healing quirk, we can't run out of stamina. And they're just like, oh, well, you guys cheated then. And he's just like, no, we used our quirks. And everybody's just like, man, that is absolutely wild. And they're like, wait, but weren't you just saying on the bus how we couldn't rely on our quirks? And he's like, I mean, realistically, I probably could have made it at the same time even without my quirk. It probably would have just taken a little bit more effort. And they're just like, wait, how much did you try on that? And he's like, about like 50%. And they're all just like, no shot. You had to have been like trying more than that. And he's like, not really. I mean, y'all are just slow. Like, with or without y'all's quirks, y'all are just like slow at this. And they all kind of get irritated, and he's just like, whatever. Except for like the ones that he's like obviously friends with, because he's like a bolder person, you know, and he doesn't see things the exact same way as everybody else does, because he grew up having to like learn to fight on his own and not rely on his quirk like way too much. And after this, what I can see going down is they all like they all get their curry and all of their dinner stuff, and they're all just chilling. And Izuku, like, he's talking to Koda, and he's just like, yo, what's up, kid? And Koda immediately like tries like punching Deku in the balls, but Deku would kind of like dodge, like expecting it, and he'd be like, hey, that's not very nice, kid. And immediately Koda would be like, yeah, I'm sorry. And he would run away, and Izuku would be like, huh, that was weird. And then after this, I can see, where do I want to go from here? I think it was like, what, a week or two of them being there? I think it was a week. So I could see the next day, they're all training, and then the one beef shows up, and like it's around nighttime of the second day, and Todoroki comes up to Izuku, and he's like, fight me, now. And he's just like, really? Right now? It's the second day. Come on. We can at least wait till tomorrow. And Todoroki's like, you ducking? You dodging from this fight? You're really gonna run from this fade? And Izuku's like, I'm not running from the fade. However, I just want you to know, I'm not healing you after this. I'm only healing myself. And Todoroki's like, alright, bet then. So, after this, what I can see going down is Izuku and the fight between Todoroki and Izuku going down something like this. Immediately, Todoroki would launch a ice like spike at Izuku, and Izuku would just like dodge and weave between them, like. And the reason why he can do this is because he knows exactly what Todoroki's gonna try and do. Now, if he froze Izuku, he would be chopped, like he would be cooked, like it'd be wraps for him. However, he knows that that's what he's gonna try and do, and he knows that he's not gonna use his left side. He's not gonna use his left side. So that's the side that Izuku run towards, and he always sees like Todoroki trying to pivot and like make him go to his right side. But Izuku just stays on his left side, and he gets up to Todoroki and goes bow bow bow, and he lands hit, like it would be a liver shot, a side shot, like one like straight under his rib cage, and then one at his like the side of his leg. And this would make like Todoroki like quiver on his left side, like fall down a bit, and he would stand up again and be like, dang, man, I can see why Aizawa had such a hard time, like not saying this out loud. And immediately Izuku would use his strings, and he would restrain his entire body, like keeping him from using his quirk, and he'd be like, there, now you stay right there. And he would wrap him against a tree, and he'd be like, I'll come make sure that you're alive in, I'll say like 2 or 3 hours. And Todoroki would be like, 2 or 3 hours? It's dark out, and we're in the middle of the woods. And he's like, you want me to make it 4? And Todoroki's like, fine, 2 hours. And he's like, 3. And Izuku just walks in, and immediately everybody's like, where's Todoroki? And he's just like, oh, he's just chilling, you know. And everybody's like, okay. Like, they just don't, they saw exactly what happened, but they do not want to run a fate with him now. And after this, what I could see going down is training for him would just be physical training, like push-ups, sit-ups, squats, running, basically just working on his speed and his just like adeptness to be able to tell what's going to happen. Like, he has great battle IQ. However, it's not gonna be it's not gonna be great. And after this, what you can see going down is like all the villains appearing on the 3rd day. And I'm just gonna say this now, Izuku would not be there with Koda. Like, he'd be there with Aizawa. Like, and so what would happen is Izuku would try and find like everybody, and he would hear like screams of a little kid, and he'd be like, wait, Koda. So he would get there a little bit late, and Muscular, like, he wouldn't jump into the fight immediately. He would look at what's happening, and then he would immediately call Aizawa over, and Aizawa would run over. He would cancel out the quirk, and immediately Izuku would be like, pow, 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 landing like 5 consecutive hits, like kick, kick, jab, jab, cross. Like this man, Muscular, is now knocked out. Like, he was not expecting that, and he just lost his quirk too. So after this, I could see Koda being like, you're one of those heroes. No, I'm kidding. I don't know it, but I could see like him restraining Muscular, and oh yeah, he would have been unrestrained Todoroki. I forgot to mention that because it was the next day. And after this, I can see. Oh yeah, I forgot. Whenever he restrained Todoroki, he'd be like, yeah, dude, if you would have used your fire side, I definitely would have lost. So keep that in mind. Like, you would have been way more powerful than me. So Todoroki, he's considering it now, but he's not going to just go out of his way to use it. After this, I can see Izuku, he finds Tokiyami, and he finds like that whole group, and he just sees Moonfish being taken out. And what I can see happening is he would take them to find Bakugo, and be like, Bakugo, help! And Bakugo would be like, nerd, I was going to do that anyways. And he uses explosions to calm down Dark Shadow. And after this, what I can see happening is basically it all going to canon, just a little bit less smooth. Actually, no, it would be about the same. Just because, yeah, just because of like Melissa having One For All now, and her being in 1A, which I know I haven't really covered that, but I could see her being able to use a good 25% of One For All at this point, because she got it whenever she was younger. Like, she got One For All like a year or 2 before the exam. That's what I'm gonna say happened. And yeah, so Bakugo, he gets kidnapped, and immediately Izuku's just like, oh no, like, I know he's not, like, he wouldn't ever go to the villains, right? After this, it's revealed that Momo had a tracker on them, and everything would go to canon, and all the people that wanted to help Bakugo would help Bakugo, and I could see it going exactly like in canon, except without Izuku. Like, Melissa would help, and that's where they would get One For All at. And Kirishima would still be the one to catch Bakugo, because he would be the only other one strong enough, and the fight would just go exactly as canon. Like, actually, no, it would be easier, because All Might was healed, so it would go, like, way easier for All Might. So, the 4th training camp would have also been way easier. No, I could still see All Might wanting to stay, like, so that he didn't interfere with any of the training from the other kids. And after this, they all like return to class after like 2 or 3 weeks of like not having school. They all return to class, and it's revealed that Aizawa, what he says is, he's like, due to the fact that if this ever happens again, I want to make sure you guys are prepared. So you guys are going to be taking a hero license exam in 3 months. So go home, have fun, and train up. And we will be having consecutive training days. So just be prepared. after this, I could see Izuku and Momo just going home and, you know, training in the bed, you know what I'm saying? Just, like, getting some hardcore training in, you know what I'm saying? No, I'm playing. But after this, I can just see us getting a little bit of wherever it stops. At Izuku starting, or, like, going back to 1A, next week, and having training for the hero license exams. Thank you all so much for watching What If Deku Had a Healing Quirk Part 3. I hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry if it wasn't, like, great today, but I'm just trying to get this video out for y'all because I feel bad that I made you guys wait, like, 5 days. I think it was that 5-ish days, maybe. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, I think it was, like, 5 days, because Part 2 came out, oh, crap, it was a whole week. Well, anyways, you guys are getting Part 3 finally, and, Soul Leveling System, that'll be coming out tomorrow, or Part 2 to that, and then I might try and introduce a new series, sometime this week. But anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please remember, like, subscribe, comment down below what you guys think I can do better on, and with that being said, have a wonderful day, or night. Peace out.